Execute production, lesson 7. So this execute production is nothing but once the work order got created, how do we perform the transactions for the work order, wherein we'll consume the components required to produce that particular product. And once you are in the last operation, the moment you complete the last operation, the product will get produced and will be completed in the completed subinventory or completion subinventory, whichever you have defaulted for, or you can change it. So let's see how do we perform that. So we'll describe the production execution transactions. We'll explain about the dispatch list and different actions that can be taken. And we will identify different transactions that can be used to report manufacturing progress. Explain how a supplier operation is managed and executed. So if you have an OSP work order, wherein you have a work order and one of the operations is OSP outside processing, how do we do that? And track product genealogy. These are the different objectives. Report work order and orderless transactions using UI pages. Query and rework work order and orderless production transactions. Explain production exceptions management. Transfer production transactions to costing and close work order. Explain how to import production transactions using the FPDI. All the topics, whatever we have talked about in detail. So here you are. So first we have seen how to create the work order, how to release it, and all the features available within a work order. Now we are going to execute the work order, okay, using a dispatch list. Now, when you use the dispatch list, if the components which are defined in the work definition or which are part of the work order, based on the supply type, if it is push, so you have to transact the materials manually, okay, wherein you have to go to the task report material transactions, where I open that particular task and issue the material against that particular work order. If the resources are not auto charged and are manual, then you have to charge the resources against that particular work order using this particular task report resource transactions, either material or resource. If these are manually transacted, you can use this task to charge or issue against that particular work order or even reverse them using this particular task. If the components are having a supply type, backflush supply type, either operation pool or assembly pool, or the resources are having an auto charged type, then the moment an operation or an assembly is completed, accordingly all the components and the resources will get consumed and charged automatically, backflushed. And moment you come to the last operation, the system will make sure the product is getting completed and residing in the completed subinventory, whichever subinventory you have selected for. Now, this is for execution of a work order wherein you are producing a product, you based on the work order. There might be a situation where you want to produce something without the use of a work order. So we also have the feature of orderless execution. So we will see that in detail, that you just have to provide the product name and the quantity which you want to produce. Okay. Just follow the instructions, click on next, components will get consumed, click on next, resources will get charged, and the product is getting completed. So that is the way of creating or producing something without the use of a work order. Hence we call this as a work orderless execution. And while doing the transactions, after completion and after close, you can just use the program transfer transactions from production to costing to make sure that all the transactions which are happened in your manufacturing cloud are transferred to your costing module. This is how a typical dispatch list look like. Okay, the name dispatch list is for the transaction form where I transact for a particular operation from one operation to another operation. Okay, so there's the action menu that lets you initiate actions like printing. From here, if I want to print the work order traveler, the label, or the production exception report for a particular operation in a work order, I can do that. If the product is having the serial numbers, then I can decide what serial number I am going to complete, which serial number I am going to scrap, which serial number I am going to reject. Accordingly, I can even take that. And the Oracle Manufacturing Cloud even provides an intuitive and easy to use dispatch list which displays in-house work order operations ordered in the sequence to be worked upon based on the chosen work area and one or more work centers. So whatever you can see here, this can be again searched based on a particular work area or work center or work order number or product. Based on any of these criteria, you can select the dispatch list and accordingly take it action. For example, I'm a supervisor or I am the operator who takes care only about a particular work area or work center. I don't want to see any other work orders of any other work center or work area. Then I can search only work orders which are for my work center and then act on that. Okay, so dispatch list will literally show you a work order, the product, and the operations within that, and then one by one you can execute those operations. And it also provides a lot of visual indicators and highlighted records requiring attention, like um, this particular uh, operation has been overdue, and everything visually you can see from here that what has happened. There are certain operations where manual material is required. There are certain operations where manual resource needs to be charged, and all that can be highlighted and you can see it there by the indicator system. And if there are any exceptions, those exceptions also can be visually looked into, and you can see, okay, this operation is having some exceptions. I can just open that, click on that exceptions, view that exceptions, and take that appropriate action on that particular operation in a particular work order. So dispatch list, this are the informations which I am going to see. Let's list the quantities and operation in different dispatch stages as ready, scrap, reject, and complete. Highlights records that are past due or require manual reporting of material and resources. It provides the ability to rework order details, print work order travelers, labels, and all that. It provides the ability to report production progress in just 2 clicks. If an operation is there, I want to complete that particular operation, with just 2 clicks, I can complete a particular operation. But there are certain pros and cons in that. When I use this 2 clicks completion of operation, I will not have control on that operation. Meaning, at that operation, I cannot do any changes to my components or resources, right? So that is about your 2-click operation. So in dispatch list, to perform a transaction, there are 2 methods again. One is called a quick complete and another is called complete with details. If I say quick complete, with 2 clicks, I can complete an operation. Only thing is, I will not have a control on that operation. Whatever components or material quantities which I have set at the work order level, that will get consumed. And from the resource perspective, also same. Whereas, if I say complete with details, it is a lengthy process with more clicks, but you will have a control on whatever components which are getting consumed and whatever resources which are getting charged. And at any moment, if I want to change, modify them, I can do the changes to them. Next, we even support serialization enabled production reporting, both for the product and the components. It allows to initiate inspection while reporting operations transactions if setups are done. And we can even see production exceptions. And it indicates starts or pause of an operation. And it allows to view sales order, work order related attachments, and upload operation level attachments. At any given moment of time in the dispatch list, you can see whatever attachments which has been associated while performing the transactions. If the instructions are provided, if the specifications are provided, if there are some PDFs or images which has been loaded, as an operator, I can just go and see and then follow the instructions to do that. If I want to upload, even I can upload them. And this screenshots, which you can see over, is a through set of commonly used search criteria. So if I want to review or search, uh, perform transaction using a dispatch list, either I can select a particular work area, okay, or within a work area, show me all the work centers, or within a work area, only a particular work center, a particular status, particular work order, start, completion date, item, serial number. I can just search with any of these, okay, and then key in, see the data, and then proceed ahead with the transaction. This is for the search of a particular work order to use the dispatch list. So as I said, in the transactions, to perform the transactions using the dispatch list, there are two ways. One is your click complete. With 2 clicks, you can complete an operation, and another is complete with details, which gives more additional information, wherein you have a control of if you want to do any changes to the components or resources, you can do that before performing the transaction. But in case of quick complete, you will not have any control. Just with 2 clicks, whatever data is there, it just consumes, charges the resources, and completes the operation. And it supports completions to product inventory for operation completion at the last operation. And we don't have any separate transaction as such, meaning complete transaction for a particular product. Rather, the last operation which you complete for a particular work order, it in turn tells that that is the completion operation for that particular work order. We don't have a separate transaction for completing a work order. That last operation itself denotes the completion of a particular work order. And we reports reversal of operation transactions from scrap to reject, from reject and to complete dispatch status to correct errors. You can even move the operation to and fro from different statuses, okay, before it is completely closed, so that if you want to take any actions, you can take actions from scrap, you can bring it back, rework that, from reject, bring it back to ready, rework that, and all that we can do. So, okay, complete. We have just talked about how we can do this, and once I show you the demo, it will be even clear that what is the difference between a quick complete action and what is the difference between a detailed completion. You will see that. Silent feature role, it provides the ability to transact one or more serial numbers. Confirmation message is displaced when the transaction is completed, and quick complete action involves minimal user intervention, so the transaction should not be require any inputs. So the dispatch list for a particular work order, in what operation you are doing the transaction, that operation will be having a suffix, whether you are in 10th operation, 20th or 30th operation. So just beside the work order number, you can see what operation you are transacting into, what is the product, which work center, what is the completion date, what are the materials and resources which are going to be charged, and then whether you are going to complete that much quantity, reject or scrap. If I do use quick complete, I can complete, reject and scrap in one shot. Meaning if I have 3 quantities to complete, one I want to complete, one I want to reject, and one I want to scrap, I can do that using a quick complete option, and with just 1 click, 2 clicks, I can complete the operation. If I use complete with details, either I can complete or reject or scrap. I cannot do all the 3 if I use complete with details. If there are 3 quantities and if I want to complete all the 3, either I can complete all the 3 or complete reject all the 3 or scrap all the 3, or out of 3 I want to perform only 2. I can only reject 2 or scrap 2. I cannot say in a single transaction reject 2 and scrap 1, reject 2 and complete 1. Either I can do this, this or this if I use complete with details. Now, on the right hand side, you can see this icon which denotes that this is a past due. And then you have a materials and resource details. If I click on that, I can see the material details for that particular operation. And if I click on this, I can see the resource details for that particular operation. And if you have seen, some of the materials is having an asterisk, some of the operations, whereas some of the resources are having asterisk, meaning the materials, wherever you see an asterisk, meaning this particular operation have certain material which requires a manual intervention, meaning some material is having a supply type as push. It needs manual issue of the material in that particular operation. Similarly, if the resources are not auto transact and are manual, then you will see that those resources requires a manual charging. So this operation, there might be some resources which are having a manual resource. These are not auto transact. So just visually I can see and then decide, okay, these are the operation where I have to issue the material or charge the resources manually. So when I hit on quick complete, okay, so I can see all those details on the top, how many got completed and pending, accepted. These are all from the inspection perspective. And which serial number I am going to complete, I can just select that, which serial number I am going to complete. Okay, and regarding the complete with details, if I select complete with details, as I tell, either I can complete or reject or scrap, any one I can do. So when I do that, you will see on the top, you will have a train stop. We call this kind of picture or this kind of process as a train stop. You started with inspection product, then it will go to backflush material. It will show me all the components in that operation 20, all of them. If I want to change anything, I can modify them. And then if I click on next, it will show me all the resources which need to be charged against that particular operation. If I want to do any changes, I can change that. And if that operation is the last operation, then I can see this as an inventory. If this is the first operation or any intermediate operation, the train stop will be only up to here. If this is the last operation, then only this inventory stop will come, meaning that this is the last operation and the product is going to complete in the completion sub-entry. There you are. So it will be product, where you can see the product details. Under backflush material, I can see each and every component. If I want to do any changes to them, I can do that. I can even provide the serial numbers. Okay. Now, whether I can do the changes to the backflush material and resources at the time of backflush is again governed by the plant parameters which we have set. If you remember, we have a plant parameter, allow backflush quantities changes. Both material only, resource only, none. So whether I can change this or not is again governed on your or based on your plant parameter which you have set for a particular organization. Once the operation is completed, you can see on the top it will show a confirmation that so and so quantity has been completed from so and so operation. And this is about viewing the exceptions if you have. Okay, and if you have any inspections, you can even by default generate those inspection, or you can just create those exceptions on fly. And if these exceptions are or inspections are already defined at the time of operation, this will be just pop-up will come and you have to enter the inspection details for a particular operation. And on the fly, if you want, you can even create them. And all the inspection details which we have captured or yet to be captured will be there in the inspection history for a particular work order. Any material which you want to transact manually or you want to reverse it, component issue or component return. You can do it from your report material transaction task. This is how the task screen look like for a particular work order for a particular product. This is the work order for a particular operation. It will default you the product and the components available in that, and then you can transact, issue it, or you want to return it. You can just decide and accordingly do the transactions. Similarly, in the case of resource transaction, you can select the report resource transaction task and you can manually charge that or reverse it for a particular operation in a particular work order. This is about your outside processing. So for the OEM or any supplier in that case. So this is a normal operation. This is my OSP outside processing operation. So at this moment, it will create a purchase requisition. Okay, all the details will be sent to the supplier. Once you receive that, so that will be in the first operation in the operation, and then you complete that operation. So this we have already discussed in our introduction session, how this OSP works and how it is executed. These details are all related to your OSP. Okay, nothing new as such. It's just as any other work order execution. Only difference is for that particular operation, a requisition will be created, purchase order will be created. The moment you receive that, the next operation you can execute. And if the product is enabled with all the product genealogy, you can see all the details of that particular product and all the components which has been used against that particular product in the transaction history of that particular work order in this way. Coming to the work orderless completion, if you want to complete a particular product or you want to assemble a product without the use of a work order, then there is a task, orderless completion task. You select the task and it will open this particular page. You just have to provide the product name and how much quantity you are going to produce, whether you want to complete or you want to scrap. Then it will show you a train stop. Hit on next. It will show you all the backfresh components. Hit on next. It will show you the resources which has to be transacted, and then hit on next. The product will get produced, consuming all the material, charging all the resources. And this is the way we can perform or complete a work, complete or produce something without the use of a work order with the work orderless completion feature. All the transactions which we do, either you can use the task review production transactions based on a work order serial number for a transaction date. So based on the search criteria, it will show all the work orders, and then you can click on that, see all the transactions which has been performed within these dates. Or you can open the work order, and under history tab you have transaction history. So whatever transactions have been performed on that particular work order, you can see all the transactions from the work order itself. Or otherwise, you can even see the review production transaction task and you can search for the details. And these are the exceptions. So this diagram, if you see the process of reporting and managing exceptions in production, and unforeseen events on the shop floor, right? So there could be some issues which we have not suspected, but suddenly something has happened. Such events on the shop floor can be reported by any of your production operator with details of what is impacting the plant production. And once the exception is reported, the interested stakeholder or whoever the supervisor would be notified. Upon receipt of the notification, the production supervisor will analyze if the reported exception would impact any work order operation and associate them to the exceptions. And based on the nature of the exception, Production supervisor can choose to put the impacted operations on hold. Otherwise, he can say, okay, this is not a big deal, or this is not going showstopper. You can just carry on. So finally, once the exception is resolved, production supervisor can release the impacted operation, put on hold, and close the exceptions. So that also can be tracked operation wise in a particular work order details or work order screen. So these are the different screens wherein you can capture the exception type, the description, what is the component, what is the severity, and so on and so forth. And in the exceptions, you can see from the landing page and from manage production exception task, how many are open, what are the different exception types which has been generated till date, reported on, what were the severities and all that. And in a glance, you can see all the details. And any given moment of time, if you want to view any of this, just click on the details and you can see the details in detail in the lower section. You can collaborate. This is also OSN enabled, and you can collaborate with any of your colleagues. Then transfer production transaction to costing. This is a program. Transfer transactions to costing is a program. You just run this program for a particular plant or for all plants, and all the transactions which have happened on your production will be sent to the costing for further costing processing. There is an FBDI available. You have just seen earlier in the earlier session of work definition where to find the FBDI templates. We have even seen in your item integration. For material transactions, for resource transactions, operation transactions, we have different FBDI templates, predefined templates available. You can just download them, fill in the data, follow the instructions on the file given, convert that into CSV, follow the instructions, then load into the UCM account whatever is provided and just run the import programs. So all the transactions which you want to import from any third party or any other systems, for all these transactions you can even upload to your manufacturing cloud. Closing the work order, you can, this is just a status, so you can do it for one work order one by one, or even you can leverage the mass update capability on the UI to close the work orders. And programmatically, if you want to close all of them, there's a program, close work orders. You can set certain dates, certain parameters or statuses, and schedule it or run it. So all those work orders which fall under the parameters which you have set will get automatically closed. That's all. So work order execution we have seen, and history we have talked about. We have even talked about closing a particular work order. So now let's go into the system and see how do we execute the work order. So to execute the work order, we have to go to work execution, and okay, I will just take my work order number, not required though, because we want to execute this work order. So I just taken that number, go to the task bar or task drawer, and here you can see review dispatch list. So this is the task which is going to help me for to performing the transactions for a particular work order operation wise. And then you have report material transactions, one task, report resource transactions. These are the tasks which are going to help me to issue the material, return the material, charge the resource, reverse the charge for a particular component or resource in an operation for a particular work order. We can use this. I'll just click on review dispatch list and then say provide me work order number. I think this is tablet, and just say search. So there you are. So our work order has been selected in my dispatch list. So based on the criteria which we have set accordingly, you can see n number of work orders for a particular transaction. So based on the work center for which you are responsible, or if a resource is responsible accordingly, you can set that search criteria. Now, this is the work order, this is the product, this is the work center, and these are the products. This is the quantity which is complete. And we are into operation 10. And these are for manual reporting not required, and manual reporting not required, either for the resource and for the components. Now, click on this. Now you see for operation 10, either I can complete, reject, or scrap. And we have two ways of doing that, either through quick complete or complete with details. What I will do is one quantity out of two quantities, one quantity I will complete using quick complete from operation 10 to operation 20 to operation 30, right? And one quantity I will use complete with details. Now, again, before going into that, let me show you one more thing about the count point and automate transact. If you see here, operation 10 is count point on. Operation 20 is not count point on. Operation 30 is count point on. Meaning, the moment I complete operation 10, system will take it from operation 10 to 30 directly, because operation 20 is not count point on. But when I complete operation 30, whatever components which are supposed to be consumed and whatever resources which are supposed to be charged will get automatically charged, because this is automatically transact. If you remember, I talked about count point and automate transact are mutually exclusive. The last operation should always be count point. If your requirement is that physically anyway I perform all the transactions, but in system I want to perform from first transaction to last transaction in one shot. So I don't want any of the intermediate operations to be performed in the system. From 1 to 10, I want to go in one shot. So in that case, first operation make it as count point. All the other operations make it as automated transact, and last operation make it as count point. So what happened while doing the transaction, from first operation it will directly go to 10th operation, and you will see that with two operation transactions your job got completed, and all the other operations are also getting consumed, material getting consumed, and resources getting charged. If that is not the requirement, but the requirement is from one operation to another operation to another operation, I want to even move sequentially in the system also, then make each and every operation as count point on, count point on, and count point on. Fine. So now why I've told that is, once I move from 10th operation, it will directly go to 30th operation. Why? Because operation 20 is not count point. So coming back, so let me take the same thing. I will complete only one quantity. Okay, and here, as I said, if I want to use quick complete, this is unable. I can do all the three in one shot, but I'm going to complete only one. So hit on quick complete. We are in operation 10 now. So in the background, what is happening? All the components. What happened? Just click on quick complete. Yeah, there you go. There was some issue. So now, number of units completed at operation 10 for work order, so and so is 1. The next operation is 30 for work central. Okay. So the next operation is 30. We have completed one quantity from operation 10 to operation 30 using quick complete. Now here also, this quantity I will complete using the quick complete only. So you have seen this, just with 2 clicks, I can complete a particular operation. Only thing is I don't have a control. All the components, I don't know which components are getting consumed, what is the quantity which is consumed. If I want to do any changes, I cannot do that. Similarly from the resource perspective, but it is very quick. And any of the components or the product, if it is serial number, obviously it is showing to show me a pop-up and asking me to enter those details as well. So now one quantity got completed at operation 30 to supplementary completed for work order so and so. Now if I go and see the history, it will show that two quantities were required to complete and one quantity is already completed. That history I can see over here. Now, that is about quick complete. If I want to complete a particular operation using complete with details, how do I do that? So here, if I say quick complete with details, so it has started a train stop. And as I said, for first operation or any intermediate operation, the train stop is pretty simple. Just product, backwash material, and auto transact. If it is the last operation, then it will be inventory as well. So just click on next, the basic details. So these are the components which are going to be completed or consumed in operation 10. If you want to do any changes to them, you can just go ahead and do the changes. You can add any new component, remove any component, change anything, right? Then hit on next. Then the resources, what are the resources which are going to be charged in operation 10? These are the two resources. If I want to do any changes, I can do that. Add, remove, modify, and just say save and close. So you can see it is again indicating that one quantity got completed from operation 10 to operation 30. Just like earlier, that was quick complete. This is complete with details. This is the difference between these two methods, and based on the requirement and the business process, you can recommend any of these. So I'm in 30th operation now. Complete with details. So now you can see, because this is the last operation, the new train stop of inventory has also come. These are the components for your 20th and 30th operation. All together you can see here. If you want to do any modifications, you can do that. All the resources for 20th and 30th operation. Any modifications you want, you can do that. Then the next. And this is the completed supplementary which is getting defaulted from your work order. Okay. If you want to change this, where do I want to complete? I can do the changes here as well. Otherwise, just say save and close. So the work order got completed. So that is how we perform the transaction on a particular work order. So search. So now this got completed automatically. We have not changed the status because the last operation was also done for all the quantities. It has changed the status automatically from release to completed. Now let's go ahead and see the history of this. So under operations, you can see what were the quantities required. It got issued to all. Resources required and got issued. In the history, you can see remaining quantity, completed quantity, how much it got rejected, when it got completed. Another history like unreleased to released, released to completed, all those details are here. And under transaction history, I can see all the transactions which happened on this particular work order for this particular product. So the components which got issued, what is the component, how much is the quantity, what is the transaction, issued or written. Similarly, the resources, how much is the quantity which got charged against what operation. Everything I can see. Similarly, the production, from which operation, how much got completed. And you can see all the details over here. The same kind of transactions, every transaction which is over here, I can view it from review completed transactions from that task, from this task where it review not here. Oh, yeah. Review production transaction history. This is the task from where I can even look into for each and every transaction. And all this transaction I can even see in the inventory. Now, this is about your transaction or execution of a particular work order. Now, if you want to transact or produce something based on work orderless, then you have on this task report orderless completion. Click on that. It opens a page, and here you have to give a product for which I want to produce something without the use of a work order, without the need to create a work order. Just give the product, and that either want to complete it or want to scrap it. Any subtype, just for a reference, how much quantity you want to complete. Let's say 3, and just hit on next. It will show me all the material which are required in 10, 20, and 30th operation. If I want to do any changes, I can do that, or just hit on next. All the resources for all the operations, hit on next. It shows me the completed sub-inventory. If you want to change that, you can change that, or just say save. That's all. So now if I go and see in my inventory, it will show me all that details. So I can go there, inventory management, and I can see all the transactions which happened over here, or the product which we have just produced. So under inventory management, I'm just bringing the details. On the task, I can see manage item quantities, and I can see how much product which we have just produced in 002 organization. I can just search for that. Just search it. There's 5 quantities in 002 organization, all under completed sub-inventory. You can see all those details. So this got produced from your manufacturing. And if you want to see the transactions where this has been come from, so you can just review completed transaction, and you can see for all that details. I want to see all the transactions which have been performed in this organization from yesterday to today, or from today to tomorrow. Okay, just a search. So you see over here for 1024 work order, all these things has been. So 1024 was our work order for which we have created the work order, and 1025 was the internal work order number for the one which we have created through our work orderless completion. So all the transactions are even stamped over here. So going back to the execution, work execution. So this is about work order creation and execution, and you can even see other details of your exceptions, if any, if there are any inspection, and you have loaded any inspections there. So that's all, and these are the places if you want to import any of the data, like your material transactions, resource transactions, operation transactions, and all that. You can just go ahead and leverage these import programs after loading the data in the interface using the FBDI templates and the load program. Once that is loaded in the interface tables, you can just run these import programs and that. And running the report, print work order traveler for the work order number, or you can even run it directly from the work order screen. Either way, you can just go ahead and submit that, and we'll just run the report for us and show me the output. Um, that's just about the manufacturing, whatever we have planned for. The next topic which we are going to discuss is about OTBI for manufacturing, the Oracle Transactional Business Intelligence for manufacturing.